I ride in a lot of Dave Elliott bits. Dave's out of Canada. His bits are really hard to get. They're expensive, but they're still worth it. So this is a bridle like I'll start a lot of my colts in when I'm starting them on the pattern. It's a locked gag with a twisted wire snapper with this little dog bone with a roller in it. And so this is what I start a lot of them in. JD usually rides a bunch of them in this bridle before I get on them, so they know what it is and stuff. And as you guys could probably tell, like, foundation is a big thing to us. They have to have a foundation. They have to know, to bridle up, to give to you, to be collected, and so I'm just really big on that. So I will keep that colt in a snaffle until I feel like it is not enough, or we need a little more lift, or whatever we need. But I will always usually just start them in this bridle. My two fraternity colts this year that were really successful, they both still run in this. So they ran in this all year. So anyways, it's just is obviously it'll take a special horse to run them in the competitions in an O-ring. So I feel like that's a little, not every horse is going to stay in it. So then whenever I get to where I'm like, I think this horse is a little heavy in this bridle, we've started going faster, I need to switch, I will put them in this draw bit. This is also Dave Elliott. It's a 4-piece with the twisted wire. So this bit will promote bend. There's no curb strap or anything. I don't know how many of you have rode draw bits. I love them. But this is one that I will put one in that's maybe coming out of an O-ring that's just a little bit heavy in the bridle, or that needs more flex, more bend. And then so this is also another bridle that I will switch to after the O-ring. I'll ride it pretty loose in their mouth, and so it's really not much. It's got the chain with the dog bone. This is a Neil Merrill. I ride this on a lot, and I run a lot of horses in this. This is a really, really good feeling bit. It's not that much bridle. And like I said, it's a good bit, and it breaks down really easy too. I am not a big fan of just a regular snaffle bit that only breaks one time in the middle. I feel like when you pull on them, it caves in and hits the roof of their mouth. Personally, I'm not a fan. I don't care to ride in one. So anyways, this is a good bit. I use this, as you can probably tell, I use it all the time. And then so then if we go back to that horse that, likes a draw bit or an O-ring, it doesn't really like a curb strap. I've run quite a few horses in this bridle. This is just a pig and string with a draw bit on it. There's some vet wrap on this right here. It's a horse that was kind of being funny about its mouth. But it's a twisted wire with a dog bone. This is quite a bit harsher than this bridle. So this is kind of one that I'll use if I need to tune one up, but it doesn't necessarily like a curb strap, so I can't go just bridle it up and get after it or whatever. So I'll put it in this bridle, and I mean it'll get a hold of one pretty good. And it's just homemade. This is just a L&W draw bit, or a bit with, like I said, a homemade pig and string draw. I use that quite a bit. These are also Elliott's. I've ran quite a few in this bridle too. It can be as light or as harsh as you want it. I generally ride it with a pretty loose curb. I really like this mouthpiece. Again, it's broke in the middle. It's twisted wire with a chain in the middle. And And then this is the same bit, but this is also a mouthpiece that I really like. It's got the beads, but it's a dog bone in the middle too, so it's broke. These are also Dave Elliott's. But this will more work like on a horse that's already, running. I don't ride them on colts a lot typically. If they need one, if they're kind of a little bit harder mouthed, but usually if they need to ride in something like this, they go spending a month or two in JD's boot camp because I don't like to pull that much. So these are really good bits, but like I said, they're more something that's running a little more. That kind of wants to turn. I don't really use this bridle on something that's real free running. It's got a gag, so it's a little bit of a delayed response. But something, that kind of wants to be a little bit turnier. I think this is a great bridle for. And then all these other ones are all Dave Elliott too. Please nobody go break into my trailer because it'd be a lot of money in Dave Elliott bits. And this bridle, this has a Billy Allen mouthpiece, so it'll break a little bit in the middle here. I generally will ride this on a turnier horse that I need more round. I need them to be more round and not stiffen up. It's got obviously a big gag on it, and this little string thingamajig. It doesn't do a whole lot either. It's been on a lot of horses as well. But this is generally for a more finished horse that I want to get rounder, that needs, maybe a little bit more lift. And then this bridle, this is like a reverse gag. It's kind of a replica of the Kathy James bit. I like this one a lot. It's got that same twist with the chain in the middle. I will ride this on some younger horses as well. It's got quite a bit of give to it. It's got big gags on it. So this is more a bridle I will ride on my colts, and I've rode it on a bunch of finished horses too. But this is another bridle that's good. And then these are just a couple more gags. This is a Dave Elliott. This bit, it's got a little gag in it. This is really not much bridle. It's a twisted wire with the roller in the middle. But I've more grabbed this bit to show you my curb strap. This is a Dave Elliott. It's called a power curb. If you need some whoa, I'd probably use this curb. You can't bend it, and it's got the beads. So if you need to get a hold of one, you can do it pretty easily with this one. And I'm not a huge, I like a lot of my curbs pretty dang loose. I don't really ride them real tight, but this is just one. I had a horse that would kind of brace on the bridle a little bit. This is the last one this one was on, and it'll just kind of help him get off the bit, because every time I'd pull and this had hit him, he'd get onto him right there. So it helped him a lot. I just kind of grabbed this to show you the curb strap. And then this is it's another Dave Elliott, same mouthpiece. I kind of like this mouthpiece a lot. This bit doesn't have much gag, so there's a pretty quick reaction. I don't use this bit quite as much just because mine are usually pretty soft, so I ride mine in gags a lot more, but I do have a stud for next year that he'll get to running like 9-0, and this bit will help me because when I do get a hold of him, he feels it now. It's not a gag, so it's a really, really quick reaction. And these bits too, I was gonna go over it. I'm pretty sure they're all Elliott's except for my little homemade one and this short shank Merrill right here. But there's a big difference, with bits, you see one in a catalog and you go buy it and it's $20 or something, I know these are really expensive. These are like $250. I mean, it's going to be more to even go buy one right now because Dave's, usually it'll take him like 6 months to make you a bit. But there's a big difference. These bits are a little bit weighted. So when you ask that horse to do something, they feel it. You know, some of these other bridles that are $20 and $50, and you know they're not weighted. There's hardly anything to them, so it takes you a while to get a reaction out of that horse sometimes. So I think that's a big difference. I know they're really expensive and stuff, but there's a big difference in a good bit. So I think that's a big thing. Like even yesterday we saw some that they were kind of spin-offs of these, but they don't hold a candle to these, because these bits, I mean, Dave is a master. He knows what he's doing, and I think just the whole weighted part of it is a big difference. So that's something I think that's really important. Just because you see a bit, or I've seen a bunch of them that people are trying to replicate this bit. You've seen a ton of them. Like, I don't know if Professional's Choice has one now or whatnot. I rode in one, and it was nothing like the feel of this bit. It looks a lot like it, but it was nothing like the feel of this bit. And I think people are trying to replicate them, but just know that, I mean, these bits, they're that much money for a reason, and I just think that's a pretty important point. So yeah, if you can ever get your hands on a Dave Elliott, that would be great, but good luck. So, does anybody have any questions about bids, or?
Yes. Is there, since we won't get our hands on a Dave Elliott, is there a company you would recommend?
Something
between him and Professional Choice?
I like the Merrill bits a lot. I've ridden a few. This is my favorite one. I'm not a big, I don't like a lot of shank. Like, even this bit has, too much shank for me, really. But that stud's real strong, and so he likes it. So, this one's real nice because there's not much shank, and it's just a lighter bit. It fits my hand really good. But the Neil Merrill bits, they're out of Utah. I'm really impressed with them. They do a great job. And L&W bits, they're, I think, in Tennessee or something. I have quite a few. I actually have a junior cow horse bit in there that I ride a lot of horses in, and it's you'll see spin-off junior cow horse here and there, and all these different makers, but none of them ride like that bit, so I just think that's really, really important. Just because it looks like a Dave Elliott, or it looks like one of those expensive bits, but they only want $50 for it, doesn't mean it's going to ride like that. So I think that's just a big thing for me, because I've tried them all. So yeah. Is anybody else? Yes.
Okay, I have an 8-year-old gelding, and I need to put him in a snaffle and get him breaking at the pole and stuff. But outside of that, I put all these different bits on him, and it just all seems the same. I don't know what kind of bit to use on him.
Okay, so she's asking, she has an 8-year-old gelding, and she's put a snaffle on him, get him broke loose, but she's tried a bunch of different bridles on him, and what to put on him. So every horse is different. Is he kind of a stronger horse? Is he a lighter, more sensitive?
He's lighter.
He's lighter?
Yeah.
So if I had one that they need to go in an O-ring to get kind of broke back and supple and soft, then if I needed a little bit more, I would probably go to a bridle like this. Is he real bendy, or is he straight or stiffer horse?
He's bendy until he raises his head, and then he stiffens.
Okay, so this is a good bridle and something like that. Because but you can still get a hold of him. So if he gets bracy, you can get a hold of him in this bridle and bring him back and make him bridle back up. But it's obviously a lot more than an O-ring.
Yeah.
So I would just find something like this. It's a good quality bit with a shorter shank. I love this bit on.
I like chain mouthpieces.
Yeah, see, me too. I do. I love chain mouthpieces. As you can see, a lot of these have the little chain in the middle. And I have one of these bridles, and it has a chain mouthpiece. I'm a big fan of them too. I like them a lot. Is there anybody else? Yes.
So what about the super run her in a lifter bit just because she tends to, she was a reiner.
Mhm.
So to get her head up, but what should I be practicing? She's already super broke, but just something where I still have a whoa.
Right. So if you need something more than an O-ring, is she real bendy or yeah?
It's overly bent.
Okay. So I mean, I would go into something like this too. Like I ride this bit on a ton of horses, ton of them, and even something like I have some that kind of the same thing. So it's the day that I'm not gonna work them on the barrels, and I need to just ride them around, and they're a little strong in an O-ring. I'll put them in this. This is kind of like my go-to bit.